Ladies and gentlemen, things are tough for these folks working in meat packing plants, and coronavirus cases have officially hit a milestone. See, the president and all these people that are demanding that the meat packing plants stay open don't care about these folks at all. They don't care about their well being. They don't care if these folks die trying to get meat on the shelves at the store. The sensible thing to do is let these people get better. Give them some time to shut the place down, sanitize it, let these people get better. But no, I'm signing an executive order and I'm going to make them work. Trust me, it's going to be no time before they're long past 10,000 cases in these meat packing plants. So this came out on USA Today, May 6, 2020. Meatpacking industry hit grim milestone of 10,000 coronavirus cases linked to plants. The meatpacking industry hit a grim milestone this week when the number of coronavirus cases tied to outbreaks at its beleaguered plants passed 10,000, according to USA Today and Mid-Center for Investigative Reporting Tracking. At least 170 plants in 29 states have had one or more workers test positive for coronavirus, and that's this week. Some of those workers also have infected others, which is included in the count. At least 45 workers have died. The outbreak have prompted at least 40 meat slaughtering and processing plant closures, lasting any time from 1 day to several weeks since the start of the pandemic. The shutdowns sparked meat shortages, which we see right now in some parts of the country, and triggered an executive order by President Donald Trump to keep plants open. But more than a week after Trump's order, closures have continued unabated, the media outlets found. So he signed the executive order, and because coronavirus is increasing at these plants, they still had to close them. Oh, man. All I got to say is, those of you that eat meat, get used to the shortages because they're probably here to stay. Get used to it. Okay. At least 7 coronavirus-affected meat packing plants shut their doors since April 28th executive order. That's in line with the average of 8 weekly plant closures in the month that led up to the order. USA Today and the Midwest Center reported Tuesday. The next day, the U.S. Department of Agriculture released a statement warning further action against plants that don't reopen. Plants should resume operations as soon as they are able after implementing the CDC and OSHA guidance for the protection of workers, Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue wrote in a letter to stakeholders. I exhort you to do this, he wrote. Further action under the executive order and the Defense Production Act is under consideration and will be taken if necessary. Red meat production has shown some signs of improvement over the past week, with 46,000 more hogs and 10,000 more cattle slaughtered Wednesday than a week earlier. However, weekly production is still down 36% from the same time last year, causing continued spot shortages around the country. Wendy's, the chain restaurant, has alerted their customers and altered their menu, and Costco has limited how much meat its customers can buy. I believe Costco is allowing 2 to 3 packs of meat per customer. That's it. I know the shop right around me, you're allowed to get 3 packs of meat per customer. And they said they have to do it that way in order not to run out of meat. The number of infections tied to meat packing plants has rapidly increased since April 22nd, when USA Today and the Midwest Center published their first story on meat packing plants during the pandemic. At the time, 2,200 people across 48 plants were infected. The number has jumped fivefold since April 22nd, it has jumped fivefold. Infections include not only plant workers, but their family members and other close contact. It's a shame because the kind of work I was looking, how these people must work, they got to be close together in order to do their jobs. That's the thing. And I seen some of the companies had put plexiglass in between their employees. I mean, it's a mess out here, y'all. I mean, you really think about it. This virus has disrupted everything out here. On May 1st, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention released its own accounting of infections and deaths among meatpacking workers, but those figures appear to be outdated. For instance, the CDC report that one meatpacking worker died in Georgia, and they just reopened. But in mid-April, a spokesperson for Tyson Food confirmed to the Associated Press that 4 workers from one of its Georgia plants have died. The CDC and Occupational Safety and Health Administration on April 26 released guidelines for meatpacking plants to ensure worker safety. The guidelines suggested plants implement social distancing measures, such as spacing out workers on the line or in break rooms, or put visual cues showing 6 feet of distance on the floor. The company said they have implemented social distancing measures for workers, but Smithfield Food, one of the largest meat packing companies in the US, said doing so would be difficult, and it would be. When when they send that meat down the assembly line on that conveyor belt, everybody in that line is, they're doing whatever part they have to do. And the way they got those companies set up, because I looked at a couple of pictures of what they look like internally, it's almost impossible to put those people 6 feet apart. I don't know what they're going to do. On Tuesday, a federal judge in Missouri dismissed a lawsuit a worker brought against Smithfield. The worker alleged the company did not do enough to protect its employees. And see, that's what Mitch McConnell is trying to do. He's trying to make it impossible. If these folks, or anybody that goes back to work, if you contract COVID-19 from your job, he's making it so you can't sue them. And your family members can't sue them in the event that you die. So we know this pandemic is impacting everything, but they don't want to have to pay out for infecting people, although the common denominator is the fact that they left all of these employees in a situation where they have to work, or if you refuse to work, they're now trying to set it up where you can't even get unemployment for refusing to go back to your job because of COVID-19. I mean, this just go to show you the evil in this country. So evil. They care about money over people, and they always will. All right, so that employee apparently lost their case. Mm-mm-mm. Purdue on Wednesday released a statement saying closed meatpacking plants must submit plans to reopen to the agency. The plans must show how plants intend to follow the guidelines the CDC and OSHA issued in late April. Those that don't, he said, could be subject to further action. Legal experts are dubious that the Defense Production Act can enable the Trump administration to force a meatpacking plant to operate. Several noted Wednesday that while more strongly worded than past communication, Purdue letter still fell short of issuing an order under the act. The executive is urging plants to open, not ordering them to do so. Deborah Pearlstein, a professor, okay, so that she's not at the plant. In my view, this is another shot across the bow that is more explicit about the Trump administration expectation that the plants that are closed will be reopening soon, and that plants that are contemplating closure will think twice about doing that. Yeah, they sure will. I feel bad for these meat workers because I looked at some of the interviews in the past. They are petrified, but they know they're essential workers. So many of them are trying to show up every day to do their job, but at the same time, they are very afraid of contracting the virus and taking it home to their families. And I can honestly say, I definitely understand where they're coming from. But y'all, please tell me what you think about these meat packing plants now officially have hit 10,000 cases linked to COVID virus and all of these plants in 26 states around the country. I'm sorry, 29 states around the country. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.